Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back to your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, as well as the vast majority of crypto and finance. And with that being said, I hope that you are all having a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are out there in the world. I do want to ask all of you out there that are watching the channel, if you guys have any recommendations on videos that you would like to see, comment down below and also hit that like button to show some support, as I always do greatly appreciate that. Now, with that being said, I do believe that we are marching into very significant times around crypto. And when I really do say that, I mean that we are starting to see the shift happening. And what is that shift? Well, it's moving away from the speculative hype and, all right, how high can this token go if we get Elon Musk to tweet about it? Like, we're moving away from that time in the market to a much more clear and mature market where we have viable use cases that are creating incredible value for real world, applications. I mean, think about it, right? One of the big things that I talked about, even with Hedera just recently, was major Australian banks looking into Hedera for the efficiencies. This is next generation technology, guys. We're not just talking about, oh, how can we, build NFTs in an NFT marketplace? No, we're talking about how can we revolutionize traditional asset classes that are still stuck in the 70s and the 80s. How can we revolutionize our global monetary system, which is also stuck in that time period? I mean, this is truly a very significant moment in the overall market. But beyond that, we have this post from XRP Drops, and this is actually from Davos 2024. The quote here is, "Clear-eyed about crypto, all parts by Brad Garlinghouse. Topics: approval of the spot Bitcoin ETFs as a milestone for the crypto space, compliance and regulation, utility should be the focus, global regulatory frameworks, and crypto winter as a time to build." Now, this video is 6 minutes long, guys. I'm going to speed it up slightly. If it is too fast, you guys are more than welcome to slow down the video. Again, I don't want to have the video be 30 minutes long for you guys, so I'm just going to speed it up a bit.
I'll echo. I think it's a huge moment. I think if you look at people's interest in the asset class, it's been very high. And look, I think a lot of people don't want to set up a crypto wallet. They don't want to, incur the extra risk of, managing that themselves. And so the Bitcoin ETF, I think, is a very big deal. I think the institutions that are participating, I've been involved in this industry for about 10 years, and having BlackRock as one of the ETF providers, sponsors, what have you, is a big deal. Added credibility to the whole industry. Look, I think the remarkable thing is that Bitcoin is over $40,000. We've had massive headwinds in 2023. A lot of those were self-inflicted wounds. I was talking to a couple people before the panel. Over the last 18 months, you've had Celsius, Three Arrows, FTX, Binance, and yet here we are, as Michael described, in a really interesting, looking forward position. I'm extremely optimistic about 2024. So I think, if anything, it's an opportunity to step back and really focus on some of the first principles. And what I mean by that is compliance always mattered. I think that we're now at a time, if we want crypto to flourish and achieve some of the things we want it to do in the future, I think we have to make sure we stay true to those first principles. We have to make sure we're focused on something more than speculation. Utility has always mattered. I think sometimes we lost sight of that in the fervor. But again, people had, as Michael described, I think it wasn't so many Davoses ago that people were like, Bitcoin, it's done. Yep. And yet here we are. And I'll just highlight, I think Hong Kong is one of the clear leaders in that ideology. And ironically, of course, I think the US is behind on that in a bunch of ways. I think we would both agree the SEC was dragged kicking and screaming to approve the Bitcoin ETF. Right. I think it's a valid argument. As I said earlier, I think 2024, I think we really do as an industry, and as Michael kind of highlighted, when you go through these, what we've called crypto winters, it's an opportunity to build. And I think you're seeing more of that. And there are more leading companies emerging. Ripple's now at a place where we have focused on real utility of solving a cross-border settlement problem. We've invested heavily in the custodial area. Circle, who I know is in the audience, has definitely demonstrated a real-world use case. I think Fluency, we're solving problems that people see with these technologies. But I agree, what has driven the non-crypto, some of your crypto winters are a reaction to an overhyped cycle of euphoria, enthusiasm, which is just speculation. And I think what we haven't seen yet that I still think we will eventually see is a separation of wheat and chaff of, what are the assets, how are these technologies being used to solve real problems that have real demand versus ones, I'll pick on Dogecoin. I don't get it. Other than Elon Musk as the central actor, I don't see the use case and the purpose. And I'm sure I'll get lots of shit for saying that Dogecoin is not, but oh well.
Yeah.
I'll just throw out real quick. Actually, some of the coolest stuff going on that's nascent around real utility use cases is happening outside the United States in places like Hong Kong or Singapore or Dubai, where there is clear regulatory frameworks. Most of the people who work in crypto want to follow the rules. There have to be clear rules. We talk a lot about the US regulatory environment for good reasons, but I think sometimes we don't talk enough about all of the constructive stuff going on outside the US, including Thailand.
Yeah.
I'll throw out one quick reaction. In your question, you said something about how is it different? And I'll say I think the question is wrong. Like, it's not different. KYC, know your customer, still matters. Anti-money laundering still matters. In the US, you have OFAC and other, I can't name all the acronyms, but I think if we start with the point of view that it's different, it's like, I think the secretary said earlier, if it's the same, let's regulate it the same. And so I don't think it's that different. The other thing is slightly off topic, but that we glanced over. One of the things I think will happen if I were to predict 2024 and beyond, as big money, institutional money comes in, right now we have one ETF. I think people look at it as an asset class, and I think you will see other ETFs come. And by the way, this is an area where the U.S. is behind. Europe has had effectively a Bitcoin ETF for a few years, and I think you're going to see that spread because people often, particularly if you're an endowment or institution, you're not buying one stock, you're not buying one bond, you're buying a basket, and you're diversifying that risk.
Subject to certain regulations, say for example, exposure to have virtual assets in their portfolio.
I'll throw out, I think the harmonization, I think, partly happens, I'll use Ripple as an example. We added well over 200 people last year, and something like 75-80% were non-US, in part because, why are we hiring people in the US where you have a hostile regulator? On the acceptance, I don't have the same optimism as Paul expressed, only because I actually personally was debanked by a US bank, where I think they're like, hey, he's in crypto, we're cutting him off. And this is a scary thing when you think about the implications of that. But you have in the OCC, as you know well, a pretty hostile viewpoint. And when they go as an OCC, the national regulator in the US for national banks, when they speak negatively of crypto and publish that, the banks pull back. I continue to believe, unfortunately, and I think frankly a Circle IPO would help provide some of the clarity because it would drive, I think, likely stablecoin legislation in the United States, which would be a good thing. But I remain pretty pessimistic about the US, which is why Ripple is largely focused on non-US customers.
And again, this all is a part of the move towards a more mature market. And I do think that the overall argument here is so damn crucial to note because everyone is expecting XRP to hit these astronomical price targets, but we're in the starting phase of everything. I still believe that XRP will hit $5 to $10 in the short term, but in the long term, where everyone's expecting these massive price targets, that's where we should be looking at, is the long-term scope here. And the reason why I say this is because, listen, we're starting to see Mika being introduced this year, by the way. 2024 is the start of this. Beyond that, there was a recent report on how there's a very good chance that the US passes stablecoin laws this year, and this is actually from the Circle CEO. And also, at the same exact time that all of this is happening, we are witnessing Ripple as a company working with some of the largest names out there for cross-border payment initiatives, which, by the way, does incorporate XRP. For everyone out there that are saying, oh, Ripple doesn't need XRP, they don't need to utilize XRP. Guess what? Cross-border payments, Ripple Payments itself, that is disrupting cross-border payments, and even CBDCs on the Ripple network, on the private XRP ledger as well, still needs XRP to be at the bridge currency aspect between those CBDCs and also be utilized for Ripple payment. So as we really look at regulations and standardization, and we see the BIS, the central bank of central banks, talking about CBDCs, they brought on Ripple for the cross-border payment infrastructure. That's the CPMI group. I mean, it's kind of crazy to see all of this coming together, but everyone is still so damn bearish because short term, we're having a major pullback. Now, I'm going to be talking about that in this video as well and addressing that. But first, I also want to play this clip from High Vibes. He actually posted this, or I think it was recently posted by Mr. Matt, and he's actually reposting this. XRP holders, Chris Larson, Ripple, the system we have today is old. SWIFT and correspondent banking will not be in use over the next 2 decades. All banks and financial institutions will use XRP to move value worldwide. Bullish. I don't think that's just going to be XRP. I think that's going to be multiple ones, but listen close to this clip.
System. And we all know that the financial system we have today, it's creaky, it's old, it's from the 70s. SWIFT and correspondent banking is not going to be the system we're going to be living with over the next, 2 decades, right? Way too slow, error prone, it's too closed off, it's too expensive. And I tell you, China is just itching to be the one that designs this next system. They've committed $1.4 trillion to a variety of technologies, and blockchain is right on the top of their list. And, you go down the kind of inventory of where China is today, it's impressive. They're doing a great job, and nothing against China here. We got to admire what they've done, right? I mean, almost ubiquitous digital payments domestically, incredible numbers, right? That sets them apart from where we are. They are now way ahead on a central bank digital currency, the digital yuan. That's setting them up now to help spread the yuan globally. Huge advantage there. They control mining. All the proof of work mining is controlled by China. If you look at Bitcoin mining, it's about 65% is controlled by Chinese miners. I mean, come on, does anybody have any question that a Chinese miner is under the control of the Chinese Communist Party? No way, absolutely not. And miners are masters, right? They can rewrite history if they want. They can block transactions. So huge advantage that they recognize that. Incredible. And then you also got to recognize the move in Hong Kong now gives China 2 of the 5 global financial centers. The US only has 1, New York. They have Shanghai and Hong Kong now. So that sets up a pretty nice picture for the power that they're going to have in designing the next gen system. Compare that where the US is, we don't have the digital dollar, right? Even though folks like Christian Carlo have recommended that. We need to get on top of that. We need to do a much better job of capital markets, regulators, Silicon Valley-like cities, not just Silicon Valley, Austin, many other places, working together like they do in so many other countries. And then finally, I just have to say it, in the US, all things blockchain, digital currency, they start and end with the SEC. And, we got to give SEC credit. They faced a terrible ICO problem in 2017. It was needed to be stopped. They stopped it, and they should be admired for that. But that war has finished. And now we're in this tech Cold War with China. And instead of pivoting to encouraging US innovation to keep up, they've done the opposite. They gave Bitcoin and Ethereum a pass, proof of work systems, that benefits China, weirdly. But everything else is still in limbo or.
So, yeah, I mean, as we really look at what's going on here, there is a tech war going on with CBDCs, blockchain, DLT, who's going to be the next, crypto hub, if you will. At the same exact time that we are witnessing XRP having a major sell-off, we're having the entire market having a short sell-off, and everyone is so frustrated on XRP's price action as well in the last couple years. But also remember, right, that XRP has been through it. It's been through it. And when I say that, I mean, go back to December 2020. Guys, on December 20th, the lawsuit gets dropped just a week before altcoins have a massive pop in the market, perfectly timed, destroyed $15 billion of the retail sector. And at the same exact time, XRP never lost the top 10. Now, we just went over regulations, compliance, how we're shifting the market into a more mature space. We're seeing major institutions, banks jumping in. We're starting to see this tech war really brewing. And here you have XRP going sideways, not having a new all-time high in over 2,205 days. And everyone is losing focus and losing sight of what's actually happening. Now, again, when we compare XRP to most altcoins in this market, yeah, you'll say XRP is not doing anything. It's a terrible investment. It's doing this, it's doing that, whatever. Because again, it hasn't had that all-time high back in 2020 and 2021, but most people are still forgetting the lawsuit. But beyond this, the reason why I'm bringing this back up, because here you have this post for myself. 3,060 days before breaking its previous all-time high. Do you know what chart this is? What if I told you that this is now nearly a $3 trillion stock? This is the number one problem in the space. You could do research that adds up to days of time spent reading, connecting dots, and coming to conclusions just for the crowd to claim that the project is a trash coin because it doesn't move. If you could go back to buy Apple at these prices, you 100% would. The issue is that this space has been spoiled in previous cycles, so now we have a clouded mindset of unrealistic expectations. Look at the giants that dominate the stock market and zoom out. Look back at the price action and how they just chop sideways for years. realized that these stocks also made many extremely wealthy, but it was such a small percentage due to the impatience and frustration. We are extremely early in this game. The world is shifting towards digital, and there are significant projects in the space that are looking more and more vital by the day, and XRP is one of them. I've mentioned all of these great projects and so many more. Not all of them have had a great time in the last year, 2, or even 3 years. This doesn't mean that they are worthless and won't perform. We are thinking in cycles right now, but you need to also expand your thought process beyond bull and bear cycles, adoption, implementation, and utilization. Once we have global reach, and I mean true global reach, it's too late. I look forward to the space maturing and for these projects to be put in much more serious spotlight. Regulations are coming, change is inevitable, and this entire space will be completely different in time. Prepare accordingly. And if you guys did not see the chart, here you guys have the chart. This is Apple. This is 3,060 days before it broke into a new all-time high. And look at this chart, guys. This was painful. But most people lost faith. They lost sight of the actual truth behind Apple. They did not care about the past. They did not care about the research. They didn't care about any of that. All they had in front of them was this chart. And the same goes for Apple. Here's 3,605 days before it broke to a new all-time high. 3,605 days. And this was not easy. This was down, a little bit up, down, sideways. This was a grind. And then we finally got some price action. But again, major sell-off. During this entire time, it was psychological warfare. As a retail investor, you are going to go through it. XRP is no different. And again, the reason why I'm comparing XRP to traditional stocks, specifically Apple and Amazon, is because these are blue chips. These are household names that many people got wealthy off of. And when I say many, it's a small percentage. XRP is no different. What's funny is that we're now in a market where we are witnessing major change in stocks and equities and real estate and things like that, because guess what? These are all going to be tokenized on chain. DLT and blockchain is going to significantly disrupt those markets. So when we look at a chart that's doing this for 2,200 and some days, guess what? It's still in a nice uptrend. Even on this major pullback, it's still in an uptrend. And outside of all of that, guess what? The ground is ripe for XRP. The seeds are already planted. All we have to do is wait for it to grow. And listen, even if XRP just went to $5, I would be ecstatic about that. If it goes beyond $5, 7 to 10, which is my main target, that's great. We will take profits. We will always have a bag of XRP because, again, I do believe in the future around XRP. But one thing for me personally that I'm watching is maturity coming to the space. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys more free content. You guys more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. Also, guys, NordVPN. You need as many layers of security as possible in this space, and whatever you're doing online should always be protected as well, especially if you are in crypto. Guys, NordVPN, they offer everything. Malware protection, VPN services, encryption. This is truly an incredible opportunity because you could save 63% off right now on the 2-year plan. You could save 51%. For a 2-year plan, you're talking about $399 a month, $101.51, depending, of course, on your tax country, and you could pay with crypto. If you guys do want to go check it out, links down in the description below, as well as in the comments below. And with that being said, guys, thanks for watching. This has been Nick. Peace out.